Joseph P. Kennedy was an American businessman, an inventor, and most notably a government official. Appointed by Franklin Roosevelt, Joe earned himself the position of ambassador in the United Kingdoms. He served for 2 years with the support of his family.
Joseph and his wife Rose Fitzgerald were parents to 9 children, including the future President John F. Kennedy.
The Kennedys were a loving but extremely competitive family. Joseph loved his kids, but demanded success from them at a very young age.
It was determined early on that Joe Jr. would carry on the family name in politics.
John F. Kennedy lived in his brother's shadow. He was born May 29, 1917. His biggest problem was his health. From a young age, he suffered from many illnesses.
After high school, he attended Princeton until he dropped out because of medical issues. From 1930s to 1940, he attended Harvard. Oh my God. In that time, he toured Europe as well. In 1940, he wrote his senior thesis on foreign policy.
His thesis was published under the name Why England Slept. It was reviewed by his professors as sloppily written, but the writing was well supported.
The next chapter in his life was his military experience. Before he was even permitted entrance, he was denied because of his health issues. His father was able to get him a special review and basically fix an entry exam.
Once he was in, he made his way up the Navy chain of command. He captained his own PT boat and gained the respect of his crew. For a majority of their time, they stayed out of harm's way. But one night, their ship was run over and the crew was scattered through the water. John was able to rescue all of them in a very heroic way. The news made national headlines, and Kennedy became an instant war hero.
Soon after, his brother Joe Jr. is killed in a plane crash. The family is devastated.
In 1946, he enters and wins the Democratic primary for the Massachusetts 11th Congressional District. In November, he was elected to the House of Representatives. Because of Joe Jr.'s death, Joe Sr. put all his money and faith into helping John succeed. In 1948, he is re-elected, but once again his health comes into play. While on a trip to England, he was diagnosed with Addison's disease. The family decided to keep it a secret in order for him to maintain the young, healthy, handsome politician look. In 1952, he defeats Henry Cabot Lodge in the Massachusetts Senate race. This is about the same time he marries Jacqueline Bouvier.
At the Democratic National Convention, JFK almost became the running mate of Adlai Stevenson. He lost to Estes Cavaver. At the time it seemed bad, but considering Stevenson was badly beaten by Eisenhower, this was the best possible scenario for Kennedy. In 1957, John and Jacqueline have a daughter named Carolyn. This also helps the Kennedys politically because now their family becomes idolized as the perfect American family. They are in magazines and newspapers and are recognized by everyone in America.
This image helps him re-win his Senate seat in 1958. With this win, he decides to run for president in 1960. With Lyndon B. Johnson as his running mate, he defeats Nixon and becomes President of the United States. He creates the Peace Corps just because he feels like it. Even today, it is a highly recognized group. The U.S. and Kennedy supported the invasion of Cuba, but the Bay of Pigs massacre put a halt to that plan.
With Cuba in Russia's pocket and the threat of communism already present, Kennedy orders a naval quarantine when he discovers nuclear weapons in Cuba. Russia agrees to take the weapons out 12 days later. On November 22nd, 1963, while riding through the streets of Dallas, President Kennedy is shot and killed by Lee Harvey Oswald. Wouldn't be that big of a... 50 years later, Kennedy is still celebrated by many Americans.